Power isn't about swinging your fists. It's not about shouting louder or striking harder. True power is calm, calculated, and silent. The greatest victories in history weren't always won on the battlefield. They were won in the mind, through patience, discipline, and control. Your enemies don't fear your rage. They fear your composure. They fear the fact that you can destroy them without ever touching them, that you can break them without a single fight. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 Stoic ways to destroy your enemy without fighting them. 5 weapons that require no blade, no army, no noise, but will leave your enemies powerless, broken, and defeated. Master your emotions. Power isn't measured by how loud you shout, how fast you strike, or how hard you hit. Power is measured by how still you remain when chaos is pressing against you. Your enemy wants one thing more than your defeat. They want your reaction. The moment you lose control of your emotions, you hand them the victory, and that's why the first Stoic weapon is this. Master your emotions, and you make yourself untouchable. Think about it. Anger, rage, envy, these are chains. They don't hurt your enemy, they shackle you. When you lash out, when you break down, when you explode with fury, you reveal exactly what they wanted to see, your weakness. And in that moment, you're no longer leading, you're being led. Not by logic, not by strategy, but by the very person who sought to provoke you. They own you. But the one who refuses to be moved, that person becomes terrifying, because silence unnerves, calmness unsettles. The enemy strikes, insults, tries to humiliate, and you give them nothing. Imagine how maddening that is for them. They scream, and you stay calm. They attack, and you stand tall. They want chaos, and you hand them order. In that moment, they realize they cannot touch you. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you decide how and when to act. It means you don't allow your pulse to dictate your choices. You can feel rage and still not lash out. You can feel pain and still not collapse. That level of control is not weakness. It is supreme strength. Picture 2 warriors facing each other. One is red-faced, trembling, fists clenched, ready to explode. The other stands calm, still steady as a stone. Who looks stronger? Who looks more dangerous? Exactly. The one who doesn't flinch. The one who chooses restraint, not because they are afraid, but because they are too powerful to be dragged into the mud. Your enemy wants to drag you down into the swamp of petty insults, cheap shots, and emotional chaos. Don't step into it. Let them drown in their own fury. While they rage, you remain focused. While they waste energy plotting your destruction, you channel every ounce of yours into building, strengthening, advancing. Their fire consumes them. Your calm carries you forward. So here is your command. Never let anyone else write your script. Never let an enemy decide how you feel. You can't control what they say, what they do, or how much venom they throw your way, but you can control your mind. You can control your response. And that is the highest form of dominance. Because when you master your emotions, you master the battlefield. And when you master the battlefield, your enemies destroy themselves, trying and failing to move you. 2. Starve them of attention. Your enemy survives on one thing: your energy. Your reaction is their oxygen. Your acknowledgement is their food. When you give them attention, you give them life. But when you refuse to respond, when you starve them of recognition, you suffocate them without ever lifting a hand. This is the power of indifference. It may sound simple, but it is one of the most devastating tactics you can use. Why? Because human beings crave one thing above all significance, even your enemy, especially your enemy. They need to feel important, relevant, seen. They need to believe that their words, their actions, their existence matters to you. When you deny them that, you destroy them from the inside out. Think about a fire. What happens when you stop feeding it wood? It dies. Not instantly, not with a scream, but slowly, painfully, flicker by flicker, until nothing is left but ashes. Your enemy is that fire. They throw insults, gossip, schemes, all to provoke you into giving them your energy. But when you refuse, when you offer silence instead of outrage, distance instead of drama, you choke the flames. You kill the fire, not with a fight but with neglect. This isn't about weakness, it's about strategy. It takes far more strength to stay silent than it does to lash out. It takes more power to walk away than to wrestle in the dirt. Anyone can argue back. Anyone can waste their breath on a fool, but the disciplined warrior knows this truth. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every enemy deserves your attention. And here's the beauty of it. Silence is louder than any insult. Indifference is sharper than any sword. When you don't respond, your enemy starts to question themselves. Did I fail? Did I not matter? Was my attack so weak it didn't even touch them? That doubt eats them alive. They crave a reaction to prove they had an effect, and when they don't get it, they feel powerless. By ignoring your enemy, you force them to face the most painful truth of all: they are irrelevant, and nothing destroys a person's spirit faster than realizing they don't matter. But let me be clear, starving them of attention doesn't mean hiding, it doesn't mean shrinking, it means living so boldly, so loudly, so confidently in your purpose, that their attempts to distract you don't even register. It means walking so high above the battlefield that their arrows never reach you. So the next time someone tries to bait you, remember this: attention is a gift, a weapon, a currency. Spend it wisely, and never hand it to your enemy. Because once you starve them of it, their power fades, their confidence collapses, and their attacks dissolve into nothing. That's how you destroy an enemy without fighting them, not by striking back, but by making them invisible. 3. Rise higher. Through discipline, your enemy wants to drag you into the mud. They want you distracted, off balance, tangled in their chaos. But here's the truth: you don't defeat them by wrestling in the dirt, you defeat them by rising so far above them that they can't even touch you. And the weapon that makes this possible is discipline. Discipline is the great separator. Talent can be matched, luck can run out, but discipline is untouchable. It builds layer by layer, day after day, until you stand on ground so high your enemies choke just trying to climb after you. Here's what your enemies never want you to understand: every second you waste on them is a second you could have spent sharpening yourself. Every argument, every distraction, every ounce of energy you pour into their games, that's fuel you could have burned building your empire, your strength, your mind. While they're busy talking, you're busy working. While they're scheming, you're training. While they're obsessed with you, you're obsessed with victory. And then one day they look up and realize the battlefield has changed. You've risen so far, so fast, so relentlessly, that they no longer stand in your way, they stand beneath your feet. Discipline doesn't just silence enemies, it humiliates them, because nothing stings more than watching the person you tried to destroy surpass you. Imagine how it feels for your enemy to see you level up while they remain stuck, to watch you expand while they shrink, to see you create while they only criticize. That's not just winning, that's domination. But here's the catch: discipline is hard. It means sacrifice. It means sacrifice. It means saying no to distractions. It means waking up early, staying focused, staying hungry. Your enemy thrives on weakness, laziness, and shortcuts. But when you prove you can endure what they cannot, when you embrace the grind that breaks them, you win without ever lifting a sword. This is how the disciplined warrior destroys his enemy: by living a life so sharp, so elevated, so unstoppable, that their attacks bounce off like pebbles against armor. They can insult you, but you're too busy sharpening your craft. They can envy you, but you're too busy building your future. They can try to compete, but they can't keep pace. Understand, this discipline is the loudest revenge. It doesn't just silence your enemies, it buries them, because nothing crushes the spirit more than realizing the person you despised, the person you plotted against, the person you hoped to see fall, has climbed higher than you ever dreamed. So rise, outwork them, outlast them, outfocus them. Live with such relentless discipline that you no longer need to fight your enemies, your success fights for you. And when they finally collapse from exhaustion, bitterness, or self-destruction, you'll still be climbing, untouched and unchallenged. That is the Stoic way. That is how you rise higher and leave your enemies to choke on your dust. 4. Turn their hate into your fuel. Your enemy's hatred is not your burden, it's your power source. Most people collapse under criticism, buckle under envy, or hide when others attack them. But the Stoic doesn't waste time being wounded by hate. The Stoic harvests it, transforms it, turns it into the very fire that pushes them higher. Think about what hate really is. When someone despises you, when they envy you, when they plot against you, it's proof that you matter. Nobody wastes energy on the irrelevant. Hatred is attention. Hatred is obsession. Hatred is evidence that you are above them, and that they know it. So the choice is yours. You can let their hate crush you, or you can flip it into fuel. Every insult becomes energy. Every rumor becomes momentum. Every attack becomes proof that you're moving in the right direction. Instead of letting their venom weaken you, you drink it, you absorb it, you use it, and suddenly, what they meant to destroy you becomes the very thing that builds you. Picture a runner on the final stretch of a marathon. Their body is screaming, their muscles burning, their lungs on fire, but then they hear the crowd. Some cheer, some boo, both sounds push the runner forward. Why? Because energy is energy. Whether it comes as praise or hate, it can still fuel the finish line. That is the Stoic warrior's mindset. Use everything. Waste nothing. Even the poison of your enemy can be turned into strength. And here's the truth that cuts deeper than any sword: when your enemy sees you grow stronger from their attacks, it breaks them. They wanted to weaken you, instead they made you sharper. They wanted to humiliate you, instead they gave you an audience. They wanted to exhaust you, instead they gave you adrenaline. You flipped their plan inside out. This is psychological warfare. You don't need to fight your enemy, you let them fight themselves. Because the more they hate, the more energy they pour into you. And the more energy you collect, the higher you rise. Eventually they realize the most painful truth: their existence only made you stronger. But to do this, you need unshakable perspective. You can't crumble at every insult. You can't shrink at every whisper. You must decide: nothing they do can break me. Everything they do will build me. When you live by that creed, you stop fearing hate. In fact, you welcome it, because you know every ounce of it is fuel. So let them talk, let them envy, let them burn with jealousy and waste their nights obsessing over you. While they rot in bitterness, you rise on the very energy they wasted. They hand you the keys to your own success, thinking they're handing you chains. That is the fourth weapon. That is how you turn hate into your advantage. And when you do, you no longer just survive your enemies, you thrive because of them. Their hate becomes your power. Their defeat becomes inevitable. 5. Outlast. Them victory doesn't always go to the strongest. It doesn't always go to the loudest. It goes to the one who endures, the one who remains standing when everyone else has burned out. This is the final Stoic weapon. Outlast your enemy. Time is the most brutal weapon in existence. It crushes the impatient. It exposes the weak. It strips away the illusions of ego and reveals who has true staying power. Your enemy may attack with fire, fury, and noise, but all fire burns out, all fury fades, all noise eventually falls to silence. The question is simple: when it does, will you still be standing? Most enemies don't lose because they're defeated. They lose because they collapse under their own weight. They exhaust themselves with hate. They burn themselves out with anger. They waste their energy plotting your downfall, instead of building their own rise. And while they drain themselves, you remain steady, silent, patient, enduring. You don't need to rush. You don't need to strike back. You simply hold your ground and let time deliver the blow for you. This is why patience is not weakness. It's dominance. The ability to wait, to endure, to remain calm when others lose control. That's the true mark of strength. Because endurance requires something most people lack: consistency. Anybody can fight for a day. Anybody can rage for a week. But who can endure for years? Who can remain focused long after the enemy has grown tired? That person wins. Always think of history's greatest warriors, thinkers and leaders, the ones who endured storms, betrayals, and endless opposition. They didn't always win by striking back. They won by standing firm until their enemies destroyed themselves. They let time strip away the weak, until only they remained. Imagine your enemy. Picture them pouring everything into your destruction. Schemes, lies, attacks, whispers. They throw everything they have, but eventually the fuel runs out. They realize their energy is gone, and when they look up, expecting to see you broken, they see you still standing, still focused, still climbing. That's the moment their spirit breaks, not because you fought them, but because you refuse to fall. Outlasting your enemy is not about doing nothing. It's about doing the right things consistently, training, building, growing, investing in your body, your mind, your mission. Every day you keep moving forward, brick by brick, stone by stone, while they crumble under their own chaos. Your patience becomes your weapon. Your endurance becomes their executioner. So remember this: fire burns out, fury collapses, lies fade, but endurance is eternal. And when the battlefield clears, when the dust finally settles, there will be one figure left standing, calm, steady, unbroken. That figure will be you. That is the final weapon. outlast them. Let time fight your battles, because in the end, it is not the one who strikes hardest who wins, it is the one who refuses to fall.